Hey there, my name is Joseph. I am a Salesforce consultant at Solved, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing how Data Cloud can access external data. So I have a simple demo org spun up here from Partner Learning Camp with Data Cloud installed, and I am on the Data Streams tab currently. So data streams are how Data Cloud will bring the data sources into the org. So this is the connect part of Data Cloud. So here I have a basic connector. This is the internal connector that has the Salesforce CRM with the contacts that I brought in. Salesforce or Data Cloud has a bunch of different connectors that we can use to bring in the external data. There's a lot in beta right now, but a lot of them being tested and they're generally available. So unfortunately, we can't go through all of the connectors and how to connect them, but I can show you resources on where to look if you want to connect certain ones. So there is a Data Cloud integration guide that has all of the different connectors that you can look at. This one, in this video, we're specifically going to look at the S3 storage connector. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll show you how to set it up here. So first off, we need to create an S3 bucket, and all of this that I'm about to talk about is in this documentation. So we have to create the S3 bucket with the right permissions. I created the bucket that has a CSV of customer data that it's just simple data, like 100 records that I put in that has just first name, last name, email, and birth date, and so forth. So I put that into the S3 bucket, and to connect it to the Data Cloud instance, we first have to create a policy. So the best way to do is create a policy. This was one I already created. Like I said, a lot of this is in the documentation. This just has the permissions, the correct permissions that we need for the S3 bucket. And we're going to have to add this policy and a couple of other things if we need, or whatever we need, to the user, which is one we also have to create. So create the S3 bucket, then we create a policy, and then we create a user. So here I have the user, it actually has the same name as the bucket. And we can see that the user has different permissions once this shows up on what we need to connect to the org. So that's what you have to set up on the AWS side. And then on the Data Cloud side, first off, you need to make sure that Data Cloud is set up with everything here. And then you need to enable the connector on Feature Manager. So that's something that enables the internal and external data sources. And then lastly, we have to create a connector to connect the S3 and Data Cloud. So this one is one I created. This is just the solve contacts because that was what's in the CSV file. And to create it, you just need to create the authentication option so I can show you what it would look like. You have a connector type. Mine was S3. You can create a name. This is going to be access key from the user that you get. This is how you access it. And then you're going to enter this access key and create the bucket, or where the bucket is. So where it is in the directory. Mine's in the root, so I didn't have to fill one out. And what the bucket's called. So this is the CSV and then where the directory is. So once you have that connected, you can then add the data stream. So now that we have everything set up, we have the S3 bucket, we have the policy that we need, and then we have a user to connect it to, and a connector in the Data Cloud setup for the S3 bucket. We can create the data stream. So now that it's all set up, it's going to show up as an other source right here, and we can configure this connector right here. So from here, you can create the connection name, what type the file is going to be, and where the directory is. Since mine is in the root directory and I didn't have it in a different folder, I don't have to add anything here. And the file name as well. So my file name, if I go back to the S3 bucket, S3 should just be, I believe it's called customer profiles. As I go on here, So I can take that, copy it, and then add the name here, and then go to the next. And in the data stream is going to create a new data lake object. So data lake object is just going to be all of the data in one lake. So if you're familiar with data lakes, it's just all the data in one spot. From here, if you need, you can create different things. So for example, first, we have to know what type of data stream it is. There's profile and information and engagement information. So profile is who the person is, and engagement is what is going on. So for example, profile, who the customer is, engagement, what the customer has done, or like if they've bought something, that will be engagement. And then there's another type. So here you'd have to select a primary key. I'm going to do the customer reference number. And you can also, if you want, create a formula field to add, to basically bring fields together. So for example, in this one, just as an example, if you want a full name, you have the formula type, which is going to be the text. And I can do, let's see, attributes. If I go to first name plus space plus the last name, United Testers, it should look fine here. So I have a new formula field. If you want, that's just if you want to connect to things for when you're going to map the data. And then after that, you can check the refresh mode. So upsert or full refresh, either way, whatever you want to do. Import from directory. This is the root and how often it's going to grab that S3. So you can do it from 5 minutes up to monthly. So this is also going to refresh it immediately. And once that's done, we can see that the data stream was created. Here's all the fields that we had. And then we also had a data lake created for the customer profiles. We had a profile and an engagement one. So this is going to be what's happening, and this is going to be the information itself. So that's how you connect the data stream in. It's just the connect part of the data cloud instance. So in future videos, we can talk about how to harmonize. We can talk about how to unify the data and how to analyze, predict, and act on that data. So this is all going to be just how to connect the data. So in the future, we'll talk about data model objects and how to map those data lake objects into a data model, identity resolution and how to bring them together, and so forth. But that is it for this video, and we're happy to help with any questions you have. And you can contact us at solve.cloud for any extra questions you have. Thanks.